If you are an online coach who is ready to double their income, this episode today is for you. We are going to be talking about why so many people in the online space doing this whole coaching thing, why they are broke, and some really simple, tangible ways, simple things that you can start doing today to start making more money, to kind of fix these areas of your business that are a little bit broken. If you are just jumping on for the first time, my name is Jen Casey. I am a business strategy coach and I work with online entrepreneurs in the health and wellness field, and I help them turn their social media into sales. So, like I said, tonight is all about figuring out some tangible little shifts that you can implement right now to double your income. Now, the first question I want to ask you, being someone who's in the entrepreneurial space, is let's say you were going to go and buy a TV and you wanted to find the best TV. Would you buy the one that is $50 or the one that is $400? With no other information, which one do you think would be the better TV? Well, you're probably going to say the $400 one. But what if they're the exact same TV, right? Or what if the $50 TV is actually the better one? Well, consumer psychology goes this way. We assume that the thing that is priced higher is a better quality or has a higher value. I would make the assumption that the $400 TV is probably a smart TV. Its visuals are probably much clearer than the $50 TV. Maybe the $50 TV is used and broken, right? So we need to start thinking about these concepts, these things that we constantly engage with on an everyday basis, and apply that consumer behavior, those things that we do every single day, and think about it from the consumer perspective when they are approaching your online coaching business. Really, really important. So, why is this important? Because perceived value matters. Perceived value matters. So if you feel like you're doing people a huge favor by being the person that charges the least amount of money for your service, even though it has a ton of value, you're actually not doing anyone any favors and you're kind of screwing yourself out of money. And I'm gonna dissect this with you right now. Funny thing, the other day I was coaching my Wellpreneur Business Academy students along with my business partner Angie, and we started talking about putting together coaching packages and the various price ranges that are out there in the online space. And they happened to mention this one person in particular who supposedly charges $85,000 for a year of coaching. Now, that might seem completely astronomical to you. I remember when one of my mentors, I found out she was charging $20,000. If you look at somebody like Tony Robbins, he's probably someone you can't even get a spot with, but he's probably somewhere in the millions, if not $1 million. Well, how does that happen? How are some people playing at that level and then so many other people like barely scraping by trying to sell one call or one session at a time for like $25 to $50? It doesn't really make sense, but I think it really comes down to you, number one, deciding to raise your prices. Now, wherever they're at right now, you might feel like, I can't raise them. Not only can you raise them, you should raise them consistently, because as you grow as a coach, as you expand your individual expertise, whether that's business coaching or life coaching or health coaching, whatever it is, you are becoming a better coach. You are probably also expanding the breadth of things that you offer. You probably have more PDFs or additional trainings or new insights that you're able to share with your clients. And so if you're not increasing your prices, you're missing that opportunity. And this is important for a few reasons. Not only do you play at a bigger game when you increase your prices and freaking up level like crazy fast, you're like, oh shit, I just went from charging $1,000 to $5,000 an hour. Well, now I finally feel motivated to go and make my program bigger, better, and more badass, because now you're like, I have to deliver. I have to deliver on what I just promised. Yes, exactly. And what happens with this is your personal money set point goes through the roof. Your money set point of where you believed you were able to make money, it goes through the roof. There was a time that I was making $4 flipping an hour waiting tables. Sure, I would get tips on top of it, but I was making $4 an hour. To me, to look back at that, to now run a 6-figure business is like how does somebody make that leap, right? And I think it happens in increments, but it also requires you to just make a freaking decision one day that your time is valuable, that your information, your knowledge is valuable. And when you up level, you show up bigger, and your clients show up bigger. The people that you are working with and serving, you better believe they are going to show up freaking prepared for a coaching session if they are spending $1,000 working with you. If you're giving it away for free, they're not going to show up. And some people are like, no, I don't know, I'm not really sure about that. And then I go, how many freemiums do you have in your inbox that you've never freaking opened? You probably have $1,000 worth of free trainings that people have put together sitting in your inbox, and you never opened it because it was free, because you did not place a value on it. You said, I'll get to that when I get to it. You're not invested. When we invest in things, we show up in a bigger way. That's why people get personal trainers. That's why people hire business coaches. That's why people go to college and actually put money down, because they know they're going to go to class. They know they're going to prepare their work. They know they're going to get better results when they are actually invested in the process. Okay? Funny story, clients negotiating, right? This is a big fear that people have. They're afraid that if they raise their prices, clients are going to try to negotiate with them, or they're going to say, I'm not paying those prices. That's ridiculous and way too expensive. I will tell you that many times people will try to negotiate. Not super often anymore, but when I first started doing business coaching after I left health coaching, I remember being on the phone with this one woman in particular, and I said, my one-on-one coaching service, this was at the time, it was a $3,000 package. And she was like, okay, yeah, I get it, I see the value. You've got this cool payment plan. What if you didn't charge interest on the payment plan? And it was it was something silly, it would have been $100 difference. And she was like, so you think maybe, And I simply said to her, I said, I really appreciate or respect that you're asking, that you have, I didn't say the balls to ask or the audacity to ask, but I was like, good for you for asking. However, I do not adjust my prices. I have a great payment plan that you're welcome to jump into. However, I do not adjust my payments, and I'll tell you why. Because I so strongly believe in the value that I'm providing to my clients, and I so strongly believe that you will be able to get a return on your investment if you invest. And essentially by doing this, you're telling your clients, I'm not changing my prices because I know you're going to get a return on your investment, or you're going to get the results that I promise. And I'm going to deliver exactly what I said I was going to deliver. When you start discounting things, you are basically communicating to your client, potential new client, that you don't really believe in what you're putting out there. And I said to her from the beginning, that would have created a strain on our coaching relationship, because I would basically be telling you that I don't believe in what I'm putting out, and I don't believe in your ability to actually achieve these things. And she was like, well, shit, that makes a lot of sense. And I was like, cool, I'm glad you're on board with this. And I said, and the cool thing about this is that I'm going to teach you as a coach exactly how to do that and hold your power on sales calls when people want you to discount their prices. Boom. So right there, she was totally on board with me holding my power in my prices, because I wasn't discounted anything. Now, some people might be like, oh, well, it was a $3,000 package. It was like $50 to $100 difference. No, not going to do it. Because really think about the message that is sending to the other person. Don't be that person who discounts. Use it as a teachable moment. Use it as that moment to really explain to your client that you holding strong to your prices is either helping them get a return on their investment or helping them get the results that you promised. That your content is there, it is going to show up, it is going to deliver. So no negotiating, no discounting, unless you feel like you personally want to make an exception. The person has approached you in a particular way that really resonated with you. It's your business. You have total liberty to discount things or shift things around, but make sure that you're not being pressured into it, and make sure that it's something that feels in alignment. You feel it in your gut when something feels icky and you're like, oh, I don't really want to do this, but I feel guilty, so I feel like I should do it. If you're coming at it from that energy and you're making decisions from that energy, you're going to run into problems. Make sure that you are very centered when you make this decision, and be very logical about, include the logic with the emotion. Make sure that it's a very thought out decision. Tap into that intuition, and don't let the guilt and but she really wants this, because people will drag you into their stories. Oh, my cat died, and my mom's brother's friend's cousin's dog is in the hospital, and I just got this really crazy tax bill, and my husband's job might lay him off, and my car needs new tires in 6 months, and I really need to take this vacation to France, and I have this really cool beach house that I'm paying off in Florida, so I don't know if no. There's always going to be excuses. You've got to own your prices and own your worth. So that's number one. Raise your prices and own that new money set point. Number two is be picky on purpose. Be picky on purpose. When it comes to getting new clients, I know some of you are in situations where, maybe you're in a network marketing company and clients are being sent to you, or you work in a gym and clients are being sent to you, or people are just signing up for your programs and you don't have full control over screening people before they join. But I think in your messaging through social media, through live video, you make it very clear the games that you're playing and the games that you're not. And so even if you're not directly having a conversation with someone, you can be picky on purpose. Now, realize that you making money and helping people is connected. It's often that we hear that people are like, well, I don't really care about making money. I just want to help people. Okay, can't you do both? Why can't you have both? I'm always very confused by this, that people want to be this martyr, that they can't make money because if they make money, it means they're greedy. It means that they want to take from other people and rob them or whatever. And it means that they're not really doing their service to other people if they are making an income. And that shiz is bananas. That's craziness. Especially for those of you in the health and wellness field or who are doing like spiritual life coaching. If you are getting paid peanuts, how are you in alignment? How are you practicing what you preach as a health person or a spiritual alignment person if you literally aren't making money, you have no balance in your life, and you are broke as a flipping joke? That does not make sense, and it's not necessary. You don't have to go all Mother Teresa. In fact, it's really important to shift your mindset around money, that money is not evil. Money and having money is you being able to receive abundance, which is just like anything else. You being able to get new clients in, you being able to feel more joy, experience great friendships, have fun. All of these things are the pieces of abundance in your life, and money is an essential piece of this. As much as so many of you guys may want to fight this, they're not mutually exclusive, helping people and making money. They are 100% interconnected, and you cannot escape it. Especially if you have an online business, money and the transaction of money is required. We're not running a charity here. This is not a charity. So if people are pissed off that You are charging what you're worth, not your people. Be picky on purpose. One of my best friends, she works in a gym. We were chatting the other day, and they have a cancellation policy that you must cancel at least 24 hours in advance so that the trainer can fill in that spot. Well, because she is probably the nicest person I've ever met, never wants to inconvenience other people. So instead of telling people, I'm charging you because you canceled an hour before or you just didn't show up, she's like, okay, no worries, yeah, next time. But what's happening is she's spending her entire day at the gym and she's only seeing half of the clients that she was scheduled to see. And I was like, girlfriend, I bet you if you turn around this week and hand them over the contract that they signed where it says that they're going to get charged and you charge them, they're going to show up or they're going to cancel in a timely manner. You are setting those boundaries for your clients. And if you're letting it be a free-for-all and letting them get away with not paying, they're going to cancel for the most random reasons, or they're not going to be on top of putting it in their planner. Now, aside from that being super inconvenient for you, because then you're stuck waiting around, people aren't answering the phone, or people are just not showing up, and you're waiting around, your time's valuable, baby. You ain't got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that, right? If you're waiting around, realize that not only are you screwing yourself, but the client is not going to get the results that you promised them. If they're supposed to show up at the gym twice a week to get their workout in, and they're canceling more than half of the time, well, how are you going to get them the results that you promised? The results that you guys discussed on day one? Well, they're not going to get the results, and then they're going to cancel the gym membership because they're not seeing the results that they thought they were going to get. And they're like, oh, it's not even worth it. I don't even go half the time anyway. Why bother? So on so many levels, you not having the boundaries or creating that level of respect around money, you're kind of getting screwed out of a lot of different things, and you're not helping your client. This is important because I know you guys are coming at this wanting to help other people by not charging them if they don't show up or discounting things. You are not helping your people by doing that. You're not helping yourself either. But if we're coming at it like you've got to help everyone, you're not helping those people. Have your own contract. Have some kind of contract that they sign. Set those boundaries really early on so that they know exactly what is going on. And then it's your responsibility as the leader, as the coach, as the mentor, to actually hold them to it. That is part of the reason that they are paying you. They are paying you because they could not figure this out themselves, because they didn't have the ability to hold themselves accountable. That's a part of why you are the person they invested with. So follow through on whatever you outlined in the beginning. Very, very important. I think it's important to say too that if you're like, I'm going to be picky on purpose, I'm not working with the broke people, you're not being a mean person. This is something that a lot of people struggle with. You're not being mean by ditching the broke people. Like I said before, you're not a charity. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the video of Lisa Nichols on Steve Harvey. And she's a beautiful, brilliant storyteller. But she tells the story of how her little son was a few months old. She was a single mom, and she went to the ATM to go buy him diapers. And she says, but in order to get $20 out, you've got to have $20 in. So she wrapped him in a cloth and looked down at her son and said, this is the last time that we're going to be in this situation. I promise you. And when she was leaving her community, she had a lot of guilt around walking away from those people who were, broken and struggling and having all of these hardships. But she said, why would I want to stay here? You guys don't even want to be here. You don't want to be here. So why am I going to stay in this negative, broken place when it's not serving anyone? So, not doing anyone any favors by staying in that broken place, by giving away free coaching, by giving away the house for free, by discounting people, by letting things in. I am going to say this till the cows come home. And I'm being repetitive because I want you guys to really, really, really understand these concepts and understand why. So that's being picky on purpose. Get really clear about the person that you want to work with. You've probably had at least one dream client who's like shown up every single time that you've had a coaching session, who's highly engaged, who comes prepared, who is just a dream to work with, who you connect with on such a deep level. Imagine if you could have an entire roster or an entire program filled with people exactly like that. The good news is you can. You've just got to get clear about attracting those people into your business and being okay with when you come across somebody who you know is just not in alignment with you, being okay with saying to them, you know what, I feel like this is maybe not a great fit. I can refer you to somebody else, or you can kind of send them on their way. But you know when it's not a good fit. And I promise you, if you try to kind of fit a round peg in a square hole, you are going to create the biggest headache for yourself. Business is not going to be fun. When you wake up and you have client calls, or when you wake up and you have to go interact in your group program and you can't stand half the people that you're working with, like, isn't the whole reason that we're in entrepreneurship that you launched a coaching program because you wanted to find a life of freedom, because you wanted to create your dream business? You can still have that life of freedom and that dream business without compromising on just getting people in, because you're just feeling in that lack mindset of like, I gotta get clients, I gotta take what I can get. No, you don't. It's okay to be picky on purpose. Number 3 is you've got to get rid of the old money stories. We've got to get rid of the old money stories. What do I mean by this? What are some of your beliefs about money? I work with a lot of people who, when we kind of go through this process, they realize that they believe that money is evil. Or a great question to ask yourself to really highlight your own beliefs about money is, what are your parents' beliefs about money? I encourage you to grab a pen and a piece of paper and jot some things down. Some stories may come to mind, and I guarantee you're going to be like, oh my gosh, my dad always drilled into me that in order to make money, I had to physically work hard. And so he doesn't see my online business as actually working. I had somebody tell me that yesterday. Or maybe it's that if you become wealthy, then you think you're better than everyone else. Or maybe you knew some rich people who were huge, greedy a-holes, and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to become them. That actually was one of my biggest blocks, believe it or not. I mean, I grew up with, in a middle-class family, and really, really young, early on, until about 2nd grade, I was in one of the wealthiest neighborhoods on Long Island in New York. And we lived in a 2-family house in a small apartment in the top floor. And all of my friends had these enormous mansions on like rolling hills that would probably be in the multiple millions. Now, thankfully, my parents, quote unquote, got us out in time before we really realized the contrast of really understanding the haves and have-nots, before we were able to identify any kind of real lack. But both of my parents had a lot of feelings about being in that community and in that school, that they saw themselves as different. And so I would hear things that they would say, and I internalized that because as young children, we are little sponges and we just soak it all up and embed it as belief, information, and the guiding light that drives our entire adult's life until we become adults and realize oh wait, I don't like these beliefs. Whoop, take that out, take this out. So I'm encouraging you to take things out that aren't serving you right now. What are the beliefs that you have about money? One day, one of my friends was like, oh, I heard this really cool thing on a podcast where this woman was talking about being a millionaire. And she said, what would your life look like if you were a millionaire? Now, I've posed this question to a few friends in the past, and I always find it really interesting what people say. If your knee-jerk reaction is something to the effect of oh gosh, am I going to become a different person? Am I going to have to hang out with different people? Are all of my friends and family going to reject me and see me as different because I'm going to be wealthy and they're not going to be as wealthy? Am I going to have to wear a fur coat and wear heels every single day? We have these ideas in our head about what a wealthy person or what a millionaire might look like. So it's important to kind of dig a little bit, dig into that little subconscious of yours and be like, hey bud, what's going on in there? We got to wake up some of those cobwebs and dig out some things that are no longer serving you, that are somehow affecting your ability to make money, your ability to up level, and your ability to own your freaking worth. So what is that for you? What is that thing for you that might be holding you back? Now, we don't want to spend too much time dwelling on the things that are holding us back, but instead be able to acknowledge those things, maybe get them out on paper, look at them and say, well, that's ridiculous. I, as an adult, realize that I don't actually believe that, and I don't want to because it doesn't serve me. And then you can change your beliefs, you can shift your beliefs and embed new beliefs. When I signed this was my very first client for the $3,000 package that I was selling. I went from doing coaching at $100 an hour, where people could buy it per hour, which was insane because people would cancel and then they wouldn't continue. So I was like, all right, I've got to set up a package because I'll be able to help people get results. I'll be able to know that I have income coming in, and I'll actually be able to take them through growing a legit business. Like, one call is not going to help someone grow a business. That's insane. So it held people accountable, got them better results. So I remember the day that I signed my first 3K client. And I was sitting there with my boyfriend, and I just happened to have my computer open, and that Stripe payment came in, and we were both like, what? Like, that's insane. Like, someone just paid me that amount of money? It was crazy. But it came down to me deciding that I was going to create a new story, that I was like, well, shit, I have a lot of knowledge. I am absolutely worth this and more. So I had to really get to a place. And I did a lot of work on this, a lot of reading. I was a co-organizer of a law of attraction meetup. I would meditate. I would read these books over and over and over and embed it in my mind, in my brain, in my thought patterns. And I had to change that story. So this was not something that happened overnight, but your mind, your brain, you are so beyond powerful. If you wanted to change it overnight, you could. It doesn't have to be a gradual thing. You could flip and become a millionaire tomorrow and own the crap out of it. There are no rules. It's just you. You make the rules. So anyway, after I signed that 3K client, I remember later that day I went out for a walk. And I was listening to music, and I was walking down the street, and I remember a thought creeping in. And the thought was something to the effect of, shit, how am I going to make money? Shit, how am I going to make money? And for the first time, I realized that was a thought, that was a pattern that was going on autopilot, on repeat, broken record in my mind. And I thought I had done a pretty good job of like dusting off a lot of those cobwebs, getting a lot of those negative things out, but I didn't realize how frequently I would say that to myself. And then I was walking and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not broke. I just made $3,000. I'm good right now. I'm good for the next couple of weeks. And then I kept walking, and then all of a sudden that thought creeped in again. And I said, gotta get money. How do I get money? I gotta make some sales. I'm good. I don't need to do that. And literally in that half-hour walk, it was crazy how many times that came up. But the beautiful thing about this was every single time it came up, I had already proved to myself with tangible income that the story was changed. And so I basically was retraining my brain. Instead of getting freaked out and feeling that it was a negative thing that was coming up, it was actually kind of exciting and kind of fascinating. And I was able to take that as an opportunity to actually retrain that muscle. And this is something that you guys can do with meditation, with everything. Every single time a thought comes up, a thought comes in that doesn't serve you, you recognize it, you don't judge it, and you just say, okay, let it pass through you. And every time you're noticing it, it's actually a good thing. It's not that you need to get your mind totally quiet or that you can't have those thoughts at all. You're noticing it, and you're able to then, you're adding in a little switch in your brain. You're adding in a new trigger that every time that comes in, there's a different response than in the past. Really, really powerful. So what I want you to do, or some takeaways that maybe you can work on, is I would love, if you're really ready to work on this, write out some of your current money beliefs. What are the things that you are thinking about when it comes to money? What are some thoughts that come to mind when you think about doubling your prices? Kind of scary, right? So right now, let's say you are charging $500 for a package. I want you to think about the next level. Maybe it's not doubling. Maybe it's $1,000, right? Is that fair? Now I want you to take that number and I want you to double it. Whatever that number was, whatever that increased price, double it. You would be amazed at how quickly, not only are you able to create a new money set point, but you will rise to the occasion and be able to create some kind of package that would actually go along with that piece of income. Seriously, so many people overcomplicate the crap out of how to make money online. But the reality is, if you can solve a problem and actually package and put together a solution, you can make money. If you have an audience that you are building who has that know, like, and trust with you, you can make money. And I'll just share one last thing, that was my thing. For years, I was building this arsenal of knowledge, but I had not yet realized that all it would take was me to just put together a package and offer it. I was like, well, crap, I could have done this 3 years ago, right? We overcomplicate it. We make it seem like there's so many things that you need to do. If you are just getting started in one-on-one coaching, here's what you need to do. Decide your target market. Decide the problem that you're going to solve. Outline some things that you would be able to teach people and specific things within that. Break it down like you would an outline in class. You know, remember in school when you were studying for social studies and you had those outlines? It was like the title, the main chapter, and then little bullets, and then smaller bullets, and then smaller bullets. Map it out like that. Get clear on that. All you need is a sales page or a simple PayPal link. If you can send somebody a PayPal link, you can start making money. And the only last thing I would recommend is to have some kind of client agreement form. So that's going to say, can people get refunds? How many hours in advance does somebody need to cancel before a call if they are going to reschedule? So those are the little things, really simple. We don't need to overcomplicate it. You guys can literally get started on this tomorrow. You can have thousands of additional dollars in your pocket literally in a few days at the end of this week, tomorrow, if you wanted to. Is that freaky? Is that crazy? No, you're just not thinking big enough. You're just not thinking about the possibilities that are out there. There are people who want what you have. The only thing you need to do is start realizing how valuable it is and put a legitimate price tag on that thing. So that is what I have for you today. If you found this valuable, please feel free to share this with a friend. You can also tag a friend below. If you are not already inside the Facebook group, Health Coaches Make Bank, please come over and hang with me and my business partner, Angie Lee. You can go to www.healthcoachesmakebank.com. Come hang out with us. We do free trainings and a lot of fun stuff in there. And I also want to invite you to check out the Wellpreneur Business Academy. This is a 14-week coaching program that I run along with my business partner, Angie Lee. It is an online academy and also a group coaching aspect. So it is 14 weeks of drip release modules, basically an online school where you get video trainings, PDFs, and then we also have a Facebook group that goes along with the program. So inside the Facebook group, it's all the students who are going through the course. We keep it really small so that it's still intimate. And Angie and I are in there every single day answering your individual questions. We also have Sunday night Zoom calls. So they're video conference calls with all of the students where we jump on and we hang out with you and you get to ask us your questions. So if you are stuck on figuring out your money stories or wanting to tweak some specific tech piece in your business, or need help with your sales copy, or nailing down your niche, or figuring out your ideal client, we can give you that one-on-one feedback, and you can have not one, but two coaches with their hands inside your business. Another really cool thing that we just launched out this class is that when you sign up as an early bird, you will get instant access to all of our sales modules. We are giving you these upfront because we want you to start implementing all of the sales information immediately. Our goal is to help you get the fastest possible return on your investment. And so many of you can very simply or very easily start setting up some coaching. And many of you have a network marketing company or a product partner that you're already connected with. So really, really exciting that we're going to be giving you guys that stuff right out the gate. You can jump in. We've got other orientation modules helping you get clarity on your goals, what you're working towards, and what kind of business you actually want to build. So it doesn't matter if you're a total brand spanking newbie or if you are really already successfully running a profitable business, this program might just be for you. So if you're interested, again, head over to wellpreneurbusinessacademy.com. I will link that up for you guys, and you can go and learn more about Angie and I. If you want to just kind of feel us out, see what we're about, head over to the Facebook group Health Coaches Make Bank. We would love to hang out with you in there and answer any questions that you have about the program. So that is what I have for you guys tonight, and I will see you in the next one.